We welcome you back to the program this afternoon. It's not often that we come back from a break here on the Craigaway Show with Texas Fight, even though we are the flagship station of the Longhorns, even though I am the play-by-play voice of the Longhorns. We don't do it that often, but we do it on special occasion. We do have special occasion there because we're visiting with a lifetime Longhorn, a guy who not only is the pride of Port Arthur, Texas, and certainly a big pride of the Texas Longhorns, but making a lot of people proud of what he's doing with the Chicago Bears in the NFL. Roschon Johnson joins us now. Ro, I appreciate the time, and especially as training camp is winding down and you guys are getting ready for the start of the season. How you holding up through all this?
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on, Craig. Feeling good, man. Just, glad to be up and healthy and, back playing ball again and looking to make some noise this season. So, yeah, I'm just glad to be back.
I want you to hear a soundbite. This is from your head coach down here, Steve Sarksian. He said it just this morning at practice when he was asked a question about intensity of practice in fall camp and getting ready for the season and how there have been examples from when he first got here on how to do it right.
We're practicing fast. We're practicing hard. We're practicing physical. And when you don't right now, you stand out. It used to be the other way around here when we first got started. When DeMarvion Overshone or Roschon Johnson practiced really hard, they stood out because maybe not everybody else was. Now, everybody else goes really hard, and so when you're not, you stand out the other way.
Yeah. See, you and Demo were setting an example back in the day, I imagine, for hard practice. How did that and I know we talked about it after games in the past when you played at Texas about how hard and you and DeMarvion and Bijan and several of the other guys who worked so hard in practice. How did that become habit for you? And how has that helped you now that you've taken the next step and you're getting ready to enter your fourth year in the NFL?
Right, yeah. I think we had some great competition down there on the 40 acres. Like you said, I mean, you're going against Marvion Overshon, like you better bring it because he's going to bring it every day. So there was a lot of iron sharpening iron down there on that campus while I was down there. And, yeah, I feel like we just had a mentality that we took from the guys before us. I mean, I think Sam Ellinger did a great job of displaying that to me. I mean, as long as guys like Malcolm Roach, Devin Duvernay, the list goes on. But, yeah, I think it was really just a mindset and us just wanting to win, us just wanting to, like, change the culture while I was there and finding a way to do that. And, I mean, the only way that I really knew was, hard work. So day in and day out, whether that was, competing with Demo or competing with the guys on the offensive side of the ball, like my motto was, like, I'm going to try to be the hardest worker on the team. So I feel like we definitely, as time went on, embodied that mindset, and would have surely liked to have won more games than we won while I was there. But I think we definitely instilled a culture that is prolonging today.
Yeah, that's one of the things that Sark has talked about is the culture that was established by you guys. And we bring up these names. We bring up Demo and we bring up Bijan and we bring up some of the other guys you mentioned, Malcolm Roach, several of the other guys as well. Several of the guys that you just talked about are playing in the NFL now. Some are household names, obviously, in the NFL. Here you are getting ready to start your fourth season with the Bears. How much do you keep in contact with those guys other than, we always see the shots after a game when college teammates get together and maybe there's a jersey swap or maybe just a hug and well wish and all that. How would you describe what it's like when you're not seeing them every day as you did as a college teammate, but that they're in the league and they know you're in the league? Do you get a chance to keep in touch with these guys?
Yeah, for sure. It's obviously not as often, as guys, go to different teams and, lives start to change and, the expectancy of the league is very demanding. So obviously the relationships kind of alter, but we all have the same respect. From time to time, we tap back in and, text each other and, just kind of keep in touch. Definitely not as often, as college. But, yeah, I mean, for sure when we see each other, it's all love. And when we get the opportunity to reunite, it's just like old times. So, yeah, but, as guys grow up, guys start to have families, and it's definitely cool to see as you grow up, and as you just I guess gain more experience within the league, just to see people's lives change for the better. So yeah, but it's all love once we see each other and get the opportunity to talk again.
We're visiting with Roschon Johnson here on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone. Roschon, one thing that you established in addition to that toughness was how you were willing to contribute by whatever means, whether it was running the football, catching the football, blocking, and then on special teams as well. And you carried that mindset on to the NFL. The amount of hits we always hear, there's a finite amount of hits and it can take its toll. And obviously you've had to battle some injuries as well. How has that mindset for you been able to stay aggressive, to stay physical, even in a sport where over time, those kinds of hits and things like that can take its toll?
Yeah, we play a barbaric sport, in football. So I try my best to be proactive towards any type of injuries, So I think for me, the most proactive measures that I can take is, for one, knowing what my assignment is and how to do it the best that I can do it in the smartest and most effective way. And that a lot goes into that, not just from the things that I wear, but how I play as well. So yeah, I feel like I've taken a lot of preventative measures as it pertains to injury, whether it be bodily injury or head injuries, any type of injuries. I feel like I've taken a lot of preventative measures by my diet, my workouts, and even the accessories that I wear on the field as well. I mean, you might see me. I wear the Guardian cap along with a Q collar and a BrainVault mouthpiece that helps me, be as proactive to injuries as I can.
Roschon brings this up, and our conversation with Roschon is brought to you by BrainVault, and you brought it up, so I want to give you a chance to talk about it. This is something that's a mouth guard that is scientifically proven to significantly increase neck strength, a key factor in helping reduce the risk of head-related injuries. This is backed by published science and research, and it's been in the league for like 16 years. You go back with this a little bit, don't you? And how did you get involved with it? And explain to folks what it does to help make the game safer for you.
Right. Yeah. So as it pertains to the BrainVault, mouth guard, essentially what it does, it aligns your jaw in such a way that the pressure is evenly distributed within your mouth. And which allows your neck to stabilize better. So it essentially acts as a seatbelt for your brain within these mini collisions that you may take on when you play the game of football. So yeah, I feel like it does a great job in stabilizing my jaw and helping me brace my neck for impact. And it helps me dish out the impact as well without taking as much of a toll on my body. Yeah, I feel like it's done great for me thus far. And it's definitely just another tool that I feel like is something that you can add to your toolbox to prolong your career and just keep you on the field. So yeah, it's been great, and it's been something that I've worn throughout the latter years of my career thus far.
And I've heard that other former Longhorns also have been. Michael Taft has been one of those guys, and several of the other guys. One of the things I like about it is that they say to get locked in because of what BrainVault can do for you. I mean, like you said, it kind of locks you in place so that you can brace for impact by having that mouthpiece in there.
Right. Yes. It essentially disperses the pressure in which your bite force bites down. It disperses it evenly in order for your neck to stabilize better. So on impact, you're able to utilize all those muscles, little tiny muscles within your neck, in order to reduce, your head from rattling and ultimately reducing the chances of a concussion.
And then the other thing, Ro, I think is important to point out here, what I've heard about it is it's comfortable. A lot of people think, boy, if you're taking preventative measures and you're doing certain things, it's going to take you out of your comfort zone and make it where you're not comfortable, where your head's not comfortable, where your mouth isn't comfortable. All this. That isn't like this with this BrainVault piece, is it?
No, not at all. It's definitely something that's very easy to use, barely noticeable. if any. When you wear it, you're able to talk, you're able to move around. It's not something that's bulky or something that gets in the way. I think of it almost like an Invisalign in a sense. But yeah, I mean, it's not a hassle at all, I would say.
And this is a thing also in hearing from other guys that while it's been approved and in league use for the past 16 years, I think going all the way back to Sam Bradford was one of the first to do it, is that there's still an education process, isn't there? There's still word getting out. And I imagine you've probably had some teammates asking, hey, what is it you're doing? You know, that sort of thing. And at that point, that bit of curiosity on their part gives you the opportunity and the platform to educate them on it a little, doesn't it?
Right. Yeah. Yes, sir. I feel like that's the most important thing, just kind of knowing what does what and seeing if it makes sense. Especially with a lot of guys in the league, I feel like longevity is really, really the key. And guys want to play for as long as they can. So I feel like guys are very receptive to that information, and then not just with guys in the league, but kids at the youth level as well. I mean, you want to do anything you can to protect your loved ones and make sure they don't have any type of injuries in any regard. But any proactive measures that make sense, I feel like it's a no-brainer.
All right. The one other thing I wanted to mention, BrainVault is currently doing some custom fittings here in Austin at local area high schools and teams, groups, and all sports. And they've also set up fittings at their local office right here in Austin. And you can go to BrainVault.com for more information, BrainVault.com. Roschon, before I let you go, I want to ask you about this Bears team. You guys come off getting into the playoffs, got the big win over Green Bay, and had the heartbreaking loss to the Rams. But I know you guys feel pretty excited about what you have going into this 2026 NFL season.
Yes, sir. Yeah, most definitely. I think last year was definitely a foundational step in the right direction for this organization. I feel like we learned a lot from that season. And what to do and how to handle things and how not to handle things. We had a lot of thriller games that we felt like we deserved to win, and then a lot of games that we felt like we didn't have to make so close. So there's a lot of things we can learn from that season, but at the same time, I think Ben has done a great job of instilling within this team that that was last year. This is a whole new year, and we can't really get complacent with how that result went for the team. We know the city has a lot of expectation coming in this year, but in the same sense, I don't think anybody's expectations trump ours. So I feel like we've taken the right steps in the right direction, and we'll capitalize on it this season.
Hey, final thing here. I always hear about this from players in whatever sport. If you have Texas players, former Longhorns, former Oklahoma Sooners, former Aggies on the same team, that you guys kind of, even if you don't have the friendly wager with one another where you have to wear a jersey or something like that, you guys do kind of give each other a little bit of grief, good-natured grief in business. Will that be the same with some of your teammates? I know Caleb Williams also played at USC clearly, but merely the fact that he was an Oklahoma Sooner and you've got guys from other teams that you went up against when you were in college, you guys still give each other a lot of good-natured grief about that?
Oh yeah, for sure. Caleb's one of the main ones. He always likes that one particular game that he had versus us. But we always have some friendly banter back and forth as we go throughout the years and as college football ramps up. And then everybody's obsessed with Texas, whether you hate them or you love them. Everybody always has something to say about Texas. So we tend to garner a lot of attention. So I love it. I'm always diehard repping the school every Saturday that I get while I'm up there in Chicago. So, and even it's always cool for me to see from this perspective because in the off season I go back down to Austin and run with the team sometime and work out down there at the facility. So I get to see certain young guys play, and it's just cool to see from the outside looking in now. Young guys coming in, working hard, working their way up, and having success on Saturdays. So, yeah, it's always fun.
That's terrific. Hey, Ro, I appreciate you doing this. Like I said, I know you're getting near the start of the season. It's great to visit with you. Wish you continued health and happiness, and we'll look forward to seeing what you and the Bears do this season. I know you'll be looking in on the Longhorns as well. Thanks so much for joining us again. I really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, Craig.
All right, that's Roschon Johnson. And again, our conversation with Roschon brought to you by BrainVault. You can go to brainvault.com for more information. We have more coming up on 1300 The Zone.